The moment you inhale, the world you thought you knew begins to shimmer, and not because of smoke. If you've ever sensed there's more to cannabis than giggles and the munchies, you're right. This is the last video you'll ever need about weed and spirituality. No hype, no fluff, just hard-earned wisdom drawn from ancient traditions, modern science, and countless personal journeys. From the sacred Vedic Soma of India to the ritual ganja of the Rastafari, humans have long recognized cannabis as a bridge between the mundane and the divine. In the earliest Upanishads, sages praised plant sacraments for dissolving the veil of ego and opening the heart to universal consciousness. They spoke of visions of light, of timeless realms where the self expands into the cosmos. Centuries later, on the sun-bleached hills of Ethiopia, worshippers gathered under acacia trees to sing, pray, and pass a clay chillum, believing that each shared puff carried a blessing for the community. These rituals were never about escapism. They were sacred invitations to explore the inner landscape, to confront fears, and to emerge anew. Yet for all its venerable lineage, the relationship between cannabis and spirituality demands discernment. It is far too easy to mistake chemical euphoria for genuine insight. A blissful high without intention can become a dead end, a loop of "I feel so free," followed by creeping emptiness when the effects fade. True spiritual work with weed requires clear purpose, a question you bring to the session, an intention set with sincerity, and a commitment to integrate whatever arises. Without these guardrails, you risk creating dependency, not of the substance, but of your own psyche on the sensation of transcendence. Modern neuroscience sheds light on why cannabis can amplify mystical states. The endocannabinoid system, our internal orchestra of neurotransmitters, plays a key role in regulating mood, memory, and perception. THC, tetrahydrocannabinol, mimics anandamide, our own bliss molecule, loosening the brain's default mode network, DMN, the neural hub responsible for our sense of self and time. Under normal circumstances, the DMN keeps us anchored in identity and narrative. Under a mindful dose of weed, it relaxes its grip, allowing a spacious awareness where ego boundaries soften and novel connections bloom. To harness this safely, begin with microdosing. A fraction of a typical recreational hit, 1 or 2 milligrams of THC, can subtly open the mind without overwhelming it. Taken before meditation or breathwork, microdoses prime the system. Colors appear richer, sounds hum with presence, and even the simplest thoughts reveal hidden depths. Many practitioners report lasting shifts in creativity and emotional resilience, as if they've unlocked a back door to the unconscious. Still, potency varies wildly across strains and delivery methods. A 5 milligram gummy may hit like a freight train if your endocannabinoid tone is low. Conversely, a veteran user might find 20 milligrams barely noticeable. Seek out reputable sources that provide lab-tested details. THC and CBD ratios, terpene profiles, and even the minor cannabinoids like CBG and CBC that modulate the overall effect. Keep a journal of each session: date, dose, setting, intention, sensations, insights. Over weeks, patterns emerge, guiding you toward your personal sweet spot. Ritual deepens the practice. Create a sacred container for your work, a quiet altar with candles, crystals, or meaningful tokens. Choose music that evokes contemplation: Gregorian chant, ambient drones, or hand-pan melodies. Begin with a grounding exercise. 5 minutes of slow, deep breathing, anchoring awareness in the body. Then, bring in your microdose, inhaled or ingested, and settle into a posture of openness. As the subtle waves of THC wash in, observe arising thoughts and images without judgment. Journal immediately afterward while the insights remain fresh. Cannabis can also be a powerful tool in shadow work, the courageous act of facing your hidden fears and unintegrated aspects. In a safe, supportive environment, a moderate dose can illuminate suppressed emotions: grief over a lost relationship, shame around a past mistake, anger at an old wound. Rather than fleeing these feelings, allow them to surface. Name them aloud, paint them if you're a visual artist, or speak a compassionate affirmation: "I see you and I accept you." This alchemical process transforms raw emotion into fuel for growth, dissolving old chains that limit your freedom. Community amplifies individual breakthroughs. Seek out fellow seekers, friends, mentors, or guided circles who approach cannabis with intention. Group ceremonies, whether in person or virtual, can create a container of collective energy. Begin with a shared statement of purpose: healing, creativity, unity. Pass a ceremonial pipe or share microdoses, each person taking turns to guide a brief reflection or chant. The synergy of multiple consciences tuning in together often accelerates insight and fosters a sense of belonging that pure solo work cannot replicate. Of course, cannabis is no panacea. It can exacerbate anxiety or trigger paranoia if taken in excess or at the wrong moment. Psychologically fragile individuals should approach with caution, ideally under the guidance of a knowledgeable therapist or experienced guide. Contraindications include personal or family history of psychosis, unmanaged bipolar disorder, or acute emotional crisis. In such cases, grounding modalities, nature walks, breathwork, yoga, may offer safer avenues to expanded awareness. Integration is the bridge between experience and transformation. After each ritual session, schedule a post-session integration when you return to everyday life. That might involve art, movement, therapy, or heart-to-heart conversations with a trusted friend. Ask yourself, what insights do I carry forward? How can I translate these revelations into compassionate action toward myself, others, and the world at large? Over time, you'll notice shifts, greater empathy, heightened intuition, and an enduring calm even in chaos. Legality remains a practical and ethical consideration. Respect local laws and community norms. In regions where cannabis is not legal, seek out alternative plants, kava, kinnikinnick, soma-like concoctions that support spiritual practice without legal jeopardy. And always cultivate respect for traditional cultures. Many indigenous groups regard plant sacraments as sacred trust rather than recreational commodities. Honor their lineage by learning about their customs, supporting their sovereignty, and acknowledging the historical harms of prohibition. Ultimately, the marriage of weed and spirituality offers a potent invitation to explore the vast terrain of consciousness with eyes wide open, heart attuned, and feet firmly grounded. When approached with reverence, curiosity, and discipline, cannabis becomes more than a herb. It becomes a guide from the earth, a teacher that whispers of our deepest capacities and our shared oneness. Beyond the rituals and microdosing protocols already outlined, there exists a deeper frontier where cannabis, when wielded with skill and intent, can serve as a catalyst for sustained spiritual growth rather than a one-off experience. To journey further into this terrain, consider the following expanded practices and principles. The art of harmonic pairings. Cannabis does not act alone in the realm of consciousness expansion. When combined thoughtfully with other modalities, such as sound healing, breathwork, or plant-based tonics, it can produce profound synergies. For example, pairing a low-dose indica tincture with a 30-minute session of 432 Hz tuning fork vibrations can gently guide the nervous system into a state of deep resonance. This harmonic pairing aligns the heart's electromagnetic field with the Earth's Schumann resonance, fostering a sense of grounded ecstasy that is both transformative and safe. Cannabis-assisted meditation. Traditional meditation often hinges on the ability to calm the monkey mind by force of will. Cannabis can act as a bridge to that stillness, especially for those who struggle with concentration. Begin your practice with 2 gentle inhales of a sativa-dominant vapor, preferably one rich in the terpenes limonene and pinene. Allow the subtle cerebral lift to clear mental clutter, then transition immediately into a 20-minute mindfulness sequence. Focus on the rising and falling of your abdomen as the anchor. With each inhale, imagine drawing in wisdom. With each exhale, release resistance. Over time, this blend of plant-enhanced focus and disciplined attention trains the mind to enter meditative states more readily, even without cannabis. Deep dive into the chakras. Eastern traditions teach that energy centers, or chakras, govern our physical and psychological well-being. Cannabis can act as a key to unlock stagnations within these centers. For example, a high CBD strain infused with the terpene myrcene is often reported to soothe the sacral chakra, the seat of creativity and emotion. To work with this, lie supine in a quiet room, place a hand below your navel, and breathe deeply while holding the tincture under your tongue. Envision an amber lotus unfolding at your sacrum, petals opening with each pulse of energy. Chart your sensations in a journal afterwards. Do you feel warmth, tingling, or emotional release? By tracking these subtleties across sessions, you'll learn which chemovars resonate with each chakra. Vision quest and wilderness medicine. For those drawn to shamanic practice, cannabis can be incorporated into a modern vision quest. Choose a day when you can be alone in nature for at least 6 hours. Bring a lightweight water pipe or vaporizer, a small pack of concentrates, and a journal. Upon arrival at your selected site, Be it a riverbank, a desert mesa, or a mountain meadow, set a clear intention: healing, guidance, or creative insight. Begin by walking mindfully, inhaling a single breath of vapor every 30 minutes. Allow the plant's subtle effects to attune you to natural rhythms: bird calls, wind currents, insect hum. Carry out a silent dialogue with the environment. Speak your questions aloud, then sit in receptive stillness. Document any symbols: a feather drifting by, ripples in the water, a break in the clouds, that appear as answers. Cannabis and shadow integration. True spiritual growth requires facing not only luminous visions but also one's inner darkness. Cannabis can help shine a light on repressed emotions. In a secure private setting, vaporize a balanced one. 1 THC CCBD strain. Lie comfortably and use a device to record your voice. Speak aloud questions such as, "What fear am I avoiding?" or "Where do I feel unworthy?" Observe the spontaneous thoughts and feelings that arise. Do not censor them. Afterward, transcribe your recording and highlight recurring themes. This form of self-interviewing, guided by cannabis, often uncovers hidden wounds that conventional therapy might take months to reveal. Integrating insights into daily life. Perhaps the greatest pitfall is treating cannabis sessions as disconnected peak experiences. To translate insights into sustainable change, design a post-session integration ritual. For example, on the day after a deep ceremony, commit to a creative act: writing a poem, painting a mandala, composing a melody that embodies your realization. Then share it with a trusted circle, inviting feedback on how your new perspective shines through. This practice cements the lesson in both neural pathways and communal bonds. Navigating plateaus and breakthroughs. Just as in any spiritual discipline, progress is non-linear. You may experience weeks of flat, unremarkable sessions followed by a sudden breakthrough. When plateau threatens to dampen your motivation, experiment with micro-adventures: a new strain, a different time of day, or a novel pairing, such as cannabis and cacao. These minor tweaks often reignite the plant's magic without escalating dosage. Conversely, when a breakthrough occurs, an epiphany about life's purpose or a sudden emotional catharsis, honor it with a day of rest, gentle movement, and gratitude journaling. Reflect on how the moment felt in body, mind, and spirit. This phenomenological mapping deepens your capacity to recognize future insights. The ethics of sacred plant work. As your practice deepens, cultivate an attitude of reverence. Recognize that cannabis, like any sacred sacrament, carries cultural lineages and ecological responsibilities. Whenever possible, source from small-scale, sustainable cultivators who honor the plant's spirit. Support indigenous efforts to protect traditional harvesting rites. And in your own circles, emphasize the difference between ritual use, meticulous, intention-driven, occasional, and recreational patterns that mimic mere escapism. Beyond the self, service and embodiment. The apex of any spiritual path is service. When your insights stabilize into sustained compassion and clarity, channel your energy outward. Lead a community circle where participants share microdosing reflections. Mentor newcomers in setup, dosing, and integration. Develop resources, guides, videos, workshops that democratize access to responsible plant pedagogy. In embodying knowledge through generosity, you complete the cycle. What began as self-exploration ripples outward to uplift the wider web of life. This extended roadmap offers a comprehensive framework for using cannabis as a genuine spiritual ally. From harmonic pairings and chakra work to shadow integration and service. Each practice builds on the last, guiding you toward not just temporary highs but lasting transformation.